Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another awesome mental health check. Your struggle is part of your story, so celebrate every victory. Two things I just wanted to say is, yeah, you're just having me again. Just as a reminder for those of you that haven't seen my latest video, Mandy is on some time off required by her doctor. Like I've talked to you guys many times, and so has Mandy, about this, about reducing our vulnerabilities. These are very important things. So one of the ways for Mandy to reduce her vulnerabilities is to take some time off. She's basically on bed rest, so she's laying flat most of the time and stuff like that to try and get her body back in shape. She used to be quite a major athlete as a young person, and she really hurt her back as a young person and I think her hips and her legs. Anyway, regardless of that, she's been struggling a lot with that and has had to have nerve blocks and all kinds of stuff. So right now, she is on some bed rest, like I said, required by her doctors, and that's okay too. The second thing I wanted to say is if you hear banging or anything like that, I apologize. There's just no better way to do this video than right now. Even if I do it, if I was to do it later in the day or something like that, you'd still hear it. But a few houses down from our home, people are getting their roof done. So they're going to be there all day long, no matter what, and stuff like that. So it's just the way that it is. And, you know, you guys are important. So regardless of what may be happening outside, I want to do something special for you guys always. We are in wildfire season, and most of you guys know that we are in Calgary right now. And the wildfires have not necessarily reached Calgary by any means, but there are many, many wildfires right now and much evacuation that has been happening in Alberta. And so it has been quite an intense time. And right now, it is extremely smoky outside. The air quality is very low. So, of course, they're recommending that we stay indoors as much as possible. So, in all honesty, for us here in our home, we've had to run our air conditioner almost full blast constantly, just simply because the air quality is so bad. And if we don't do that, like at least our air conditioner, it is, yes, keeping it cool and stuff like that, but it is sucking the smoke out of our home basically, because it is very intense over here. No, we don't have wildfires here per se, but yeah, it's pretty intense. So that being said, let me just get started. Today we're going to be talking about fear. And I think that it is perfectly apropos for right now. There are a lot of us that struggle with fear on the daily, yes. But right now, just know that there are also a lot of people that don't struggle with fear on the daily, but are living in fear right now because they don't know if their home is going to be affected by the wildfires, or if their health is going to be affected by the smoke or the wildfires, or, you know, there's just so many factors that come into play with regards to that. So, of course, it can be a real intense time. So this is why I thought it would be a good idea to talk about fear, just a little bit about fear. We all struggle with it at one time or another in our lives, but, you know, those of us that struggle with mental health often struggle with fear a lot. So let me just share this little write-up that I found regarding fear. So here we go. It starts with, Fear bombards us from an early age, which is absolutely true. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but I remember specifically as a young person, you know, feeling like there was like a monster under my bed or in my closet or whatever. And I remember my blanket. For some reason, we thought that our blankets were like this impenetrable force field. And I remember sweating in my blanket because it was so warm. And then I'd stick my foot out to try and cool down a little bit, but I was so scared that a monster or something was going to get me that I would pull my feet in and then I would just be sweating. Have you ever felt like that? Because that definitely is a fear that, you know, starts when you're really young and whatnot. So anyway, this teaching continues and it says, from being afraid of the dark to the fear of being called on in class, it can feel like the frenemy, you know who I'm talking about, the frenemy that's always there ready to take us down. It can totally feel like that. Like every step that we take, every turn that we take, our frenemy is right there ready to take us down. So we fear these things. As adults, we are confronted with the realities of a broken world daily, and that can elicit a sense of fear in us in all our comings and goings, fear that harm will come to us or our loved ones, fear of not meeting financial obligations, fear of rejection, fear of failure. The list of fears seems to be endless. And that, my friends, is an absolute truth. You know, we often think, well, I did anyway. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but I often thought as a young child or a young person that, oh, it will be so much better when I'm older. I won't be afraid of every single thing because I will be old and I will know better. Well, let me just tell you, friends, I am 51 years old and I still struggle with things sometimes. I still think, oh, well, what if I can't do this or what if I can't do that? One of the biggest fears for me, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily a fear, but I think about it a lot, is will I be able to make enough money to reach my financial obligations each month? I work 5 days a week at the job that actually pays me. And then I work 7 days a week at the other job. And then I work 5 days a week at my part-time job. You know, I have lots of different things that I do. So I'm always afraid that, you know, we're not going to make it financially. And like I said, fear is kind of a loose term there because I'm not necessarily afraid per se, but I think about it a lot. So I guess it is sort of a fear. Anyway, let's continue on. Some variation of fear not is found in the Bible over 365 times, which blows my mind. Okay. So that is a daily reminder from God to not let fear grip us. And then Paul from the Bible reminds us that in Christ we do not have a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And that comes from 2 Timothy 1:7. That means despite our illnesses, propensity to fear, we don't have to take that as our own fear. We don't have to do that. We don't have to allow that authority over us. We just have to trust in God and walk alongside of him. And for those of you that struggle with that type of thing, just keep listening because there's more here that will help you through this. Fear is a popular weapon of the enemy to overwhelm us and keep us from living an effective life. So think about that. The enemy uses fear in every single area of our life, whether it's going to the bathroom, even, for instance. I know people that were afraid to go to the bathroom because it hurt or it caused pain in their lives. So they held on to it for a really long time. So, I mean, even something as simple as going to the bathroom, the enemy can use those things to tear us down and make us unable to do something. That is actually quite sad, but that's the kind of stuff that he does, because that's his whole goal, is to bring us in fear and have us not be able to accomplish things. And of course, there are times where we have like what they call crippling fear, where we can't do something because we are so crippled by the fear of whatever it is, right? So fear comes in so many different ways, and the enemy just loves it. He just eats it up when we're afraid. So remembering that God does not give us a spirit of fear, but a spirit of sound mind. That can be difficult to remember, but if we were to keep our mantra inside of us that says, is God does not give me a spirit of fear, but a spirit of a sound mind. So I am going to press forward in this. So if we were to mantra that or keep that in our spirits, maybe that would help us through things. It's not always easy to move forward in purpose when fear strikes, but it is ultimately a choice we have. Truth, right there. A choice to not allow fear to control our life. A choice to focus on what is true. A choice to guard your heart and mind against fear-inducing consumption. So it can consume you. Fear can consume you. And we don't want to be consumed by fear. A choice to surrender control of the circumstances of your life over to God. The loving assurance is to fear not, but the choice to embrace that even though it's difficult is ours. So we always have this choice that we can make to say no, which is why I was saying, we can have a mantra that says, God does not give me a spirit of fear, but of sound mind. Like I said, from 2 Timothy. So today, specifically, I wanted to share Isaiah 41:10, and it says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. So that is an absolute promise from God, that he will completely take care of us. He will strengthen us. He will uphold us. So we don't have to be crippled by fear. We don't have to be afraid of those things. So whatever it is that you specifically are going through, you can remember that. That's why, like I had said before, that, I was always worried or fearful that I wasn't going to make my adult obligations of financial obligations of being able to pay our mortgage or our bills or whatever. I don't have to fear those things. And that's something I try to keep in my mind all the time, is that God has me, and that no matter what I'm afraid of, he's going to take care of things. He's going to take care of it all the way. And that to me is huge. That is very huge. Anyway, guys, love you all. And I hope that you guys have the best day. And we will talk to you again soon. Bye for now.